Welcome back to late coverage of the Old Fox Racing PlayStation Touring Car Championship. Very late coverage of round 4. We are with the usual touring cars, that's the Megans and the BMWs, right here at the Watkins Glen circuit. The short version, it's a short lap, should provide good racing and hopefully a bit of balance between the two cars involved in this championship. The Renault Megane and the BMW Series 3. Now this is race 1 of round 4, and we are going to go through the starting grid as usual. We have 16 laps here today. That's a fairly short lap, and the usual suspects are at the front with Delphi Mora, followed by Joey English on the front row. Second row it's Simon Allen and Diogo Silva. Third row Kev Allen and Diogo Almeida. Fourth row Jorge Jesus and Rob Oldham. Fifth row Andrew Dalby and Darren Head. The BMW is not so fast in qualifying. Let's see how they do in the race. Sixth row Scott Davely on his own. In fact, we only have 11 drivers here today, so a slightly smaller turnout than usual. Let's go trackside and let's go and see what's going to happen in this race as they go. And it's a good start by the two men on the front row, and immediately Simon Allen tries to get into the battle for the lead as well, and it is Joey English that's going to lead into the first corner, or is it a side by side? Wow, look at this, Simon Allen is in the middle of it as well. It's 3 wide already. 3 wide already. Oh, there's a crash there. Oh, Joey English and Simon Allen collide. What a disaster for the championship contender Joey English, and there's the Simon Allen in 11th. We are going to have, of course, a very detailed replay at what happened here on lap 1. It seems to me that the problem was that 3 wide there clearly wouldn't work. Now let's try to establish what happened here, shall we? We've got Joe English in the lead, but he is on the outside. Delphi Mora comes on the inside, and then Simon Allen, he's coming on the outside. Well, he's fully off the track as well. At least he's in the curb. No track limits here today, but you can see that this is not going to end well here, because Joey is now at the slight disadvantage. Simon Allen has coming back into the track. Now, actually, Joey was trying to get out of it, and then just what happened here, he just slides a bit wide there and into Simon Allen's path. So I'm going to call this a racing incident. Simon Allen definitely overtook Joey off the track, but when the incident actually happened, he was ahead, and it was Joey that slid into Simon. Let's have a look at the lead of the race. Diogo Silva is up into second place, of course, from fourth. Delphi Mora has a great chance to win this race. Third is now Jorge Jesus. Fourth is Diogo Almeida. No, Darren Head is up into fourth place. We have to see the replay of his start, because he was on the 5th row. So definitely is then a very good start by the BMW. Also good start there by Rob Oldham. But look at that, he is, well, he starts like a bullet. He is in 10th place. So let's just watch. He's got a great start, better than the Megane. Look at the Jorge Jesus and Rob Oldham as well, overtaking a few Meganes there. Now Darren Head is going to come up on top here. He is going to go on the outside of turn 1. Oh, there's a small clash there between Rob Oldham and one of the Meganes. I believe that was Diogo Almeida. Now he's still in 8th place at this point. That the action is happening there, and he does a good job there on the outside of Rob Oldham. Hits the barrier, fortunately no damage in Old Fox Racing PlayStation. He's up into 5th place, and he is still in 5th place, I believe. As Diogo Almeida, look at the Jorge Jesus up into 3rd, so the BMW is heavy. Oh, that Diogo Almeida just slides off the track there. Let's look at the replay. We haven't seen, this was on his own. and he's just a little bit too much over the curb there in the grass, and then just loses it, and well, does not spin, but does lose quite a lot of time. Let's go back to the race leaders, as Delphi Moura already has a 1 second gap over Diogo Silva, and this is the end of the first lap out of 16, and Diogo's getting closer here a little bit, as oh, Delphi Moura is on two wheels. He does a two-wheeler. Look at this. Diogo Silva is going to lead the opening lap of this race. He does. It's the first lap he leads in the entire season, and one of the first few laps that is not led by either Delphi Moura or Joey English. And look at that. Delphi Moura definitely wants to get back at that lead very quickly, because he knows that Jorge Jesus is behind, and he's quite an aggressive driver. Look at that ahead, under pressure from Cavallo as well. There at the back we could see the BMW under pressure from the Megane, but now we've got a pretty good battle for the lead, and Diogo Silva is already going defensive there on the back straight before the chicane. They almost ran side by side, but he retains the lead of this race. And look at this, a lot of sliding there, and tire wear surely is going to become a problem later on in this race. And now they're going to run side by side here. Are they going to run side by side here on the opposite straight? Diogo still holds the inside, and now he's coming back into the racing line. Look at that, there's a massive battle there at the back that we should check what's going on there. But Delphi Moura definitely very keen to basically return to this lead. We'll get and have a look at the battle, but look at this. This is a very good battle indeed between these two drivers as they cross the line for the second lap. And it is Rob Oldham. Well, something has happened to someone. Let's see what happened to Kev Allen, because he certainly was behind Darren Head, so we are going at least to see some overtaking here. And look at this melee here behind the top three drivers. As yes, so let's look at this from Darren Head's perspective. Kev Allen behind. This is a chicane. This is still lap 2. Oh, and Darren loses it completely and has to cut through the grass. Look at Andrew Dalby is now in 6th spot. We haven't seen quite a lot of him, but he's done a great job there. Look at this mass of Beamers there trying to battle for 5th place. A bit of a nose cone that someone knocked there, as Darren Head is now in 5th place. Look at Rob Oldham on the inside of Rob Oldham on the inside, was trying to go on the inside of Andrew Dalby. Now they're side by side, and Rob Oldham, I think, is job done here as they start the third lap. Behind these drivers we've got the delayed Diogo Almeida. Oh, look at this, nice there by Andrew Dalby, braking very late. And look at Diogo Almeida. Ooh, a little bit of track limits problem there. And these track limits will be monitored by the admins. And Diogo Almeida certainly going a little bit too wide there. Look at the battle for the lead. Let's go back to the battle for the lead as they are now again at it at the chicane. Diogo Silva still retains the lead, and oh, look at that drifting there through the chicane. Not the fastest way that Megane can go around that chicane. Lap 3 sorry, out of 16, so plenty of racing to go, and I wonder for how much longer is Diogo going to hold on to these leads. We'll keep an eye on battles there at the back. We almost can see the entire field. Something has happened to Andrew Dalby, and we are going to get a replay. He was in a very good 6th place, but he's dropped down the order quite significantly, and this is what happened. He was battling with Rob Oldham. Through the chicane they go. Now he's going to try to... Ooh, is he going to lose it? Yes, he is going to lose it, and oh, and then gets hit by Rob, but nowhere to go. Rob wasn't at fault there, as Andrew Dalby was completely out of control. There goes Joey English, he's in 9th spot. Let's go back to the race leaders as they prepare to complete lap number 3. And Delphi Moura knows that Joey English is definitely recovering, and he definitely wants that lead back now. There's going to be another lap, end of lap 3, beginning of lap 4. George Jesus retains third, followed by Caval, followed by Darren Head, and then up into sixth now is Diogo Almeida. He did overtake Rob Oldham down into seventh, and look at Scott Navely. He started 11th and is already up into 8th place, as other drivers have been delayed by incidents. And the Air Bubbles car, number 12, is still in the lead of this race. Remember that Diogo didn't even get a podium this season yet, and now he's leading a few laps at least. He has led laps in every Old Folks Racing Championship that has been organized since 2020 in PlayStation. The only driver to do so, but for how much longer is he going to hold on to that lead? The tires are starting to fail, and now Delphi Moore is on the outside again, which is not the best option for an overtake. And Diogo Shirley is going to go over the inside. Now he's going to go side by side here, and he's going to do it. Nicely done there by Delphi Moore. Surely now he's got the inside line, and he is up into the oh no, but Diogo is coming back at him now as Delphi Moore actually run wide. And look at this, he's got the lead back, and he still leads the fourth lap of this race. This is absolutely brilliant. Look at the back there. Cavallo tried to get into third place as well. Now they're going to go side by side here. This is not a great idea to go side by side here. You do need a little bit of consideration for the other driver, but Delphi Moore seems to be now with more momentum, and he's got it. He's got the lead now. Can Diogo come back at him or not? The answer is not yet now, and surely now Delphi Moore has a better pace that should be enough to retain the lead of this race. We are now moving on. Oh, Josh Zeus is well, he just zigged when he should have zagged, and he lost the position there at the chicane. He lost third place. Now is in possession of Cavallen, and Darren Head is in fourth place. Very consistent Darren Head, trying to get a good result here with that BMW and trying to get some points to go up in the standings. Right now the BMWs are not very well classified, except George Zeus that's doing a great job in this season. Darren Head there, well, pretty much everyone just running wide. Fifth place is George Zeus. Sixth place is now Diogo Almeida. Seventh is Rob Oldham, and Rob is under pressure from Joe English, and that pressure is so severe that he's going to lose the spot before the start-finish line. Joe English up into seventh. Where will he finish is the question. We are still on lap 6 out of 16. Joe English has had that incident with Simon Allen. Simon Allen, by the way, is still running last. Here he is. He was third on the grid. He's now stuck behind Andrew Dalby, that was doing such a great job until that incident after the chicane. And it seems to me that Simon Allen has had other incidents. He is still last. His lap time is actually quite good, 1:13.61, but he must have been delayed by something else. We will keep an eye on that battle now. Cavallen and Darren Head. Cavallen seems to be, well, the top four seems to be under control of this race. Fifth is George Zeus, not under pressure from sixth place. Diogo Almeida. Then is Joey English. The man on the move is Joey English in seventh place, and we should see where, let's look at lap times to see if Joey is making any progress. He's only 7 seconds away from the leader, and he's only 6 seconds away from second place. Let's look at the lap times here, shall we? He's done a 1:12.953, which is easily the fastest lap in the race. He is turning at least 1 second faster than the driver in front, that's Diogo Almeida. Only half a second faster than Diogo Silva in second place. At this pace, it won't be possible for him to go to the podium, but you never know what's going to happen here, as we did see Simon Allen now making a move on Andrew Dalby, and Andrew was trying to go side by side in turn one. They both run wide, and Simon finds himself in the same position as in the opening lap. This time no contact, and he's going to take the position. Yes, he is up into the top 10 is Simon Allen. Down, by the way, down into 9th is Scott Davely, of course, because he was overtaken by Joey English. So did Rob Oldham in 8th place. The first BMW is in 4th. The top 3 continue to be Megans, but then we have quite a big group of BMWs Now the man on the move is Joey English. He is now behind Diogo Almeida, lap 7. We are not yet at the midpoint of this race, so he has plenty of time to recover, and this is quite important for the championship that he does so if he wants to have a chance. And look at this, Diogo Almeida almost losing it there in the last corner. He's trying to put some pressure on Jorge Jesus. So there's the Portuguese duo in front of Joey English, and we're going to turn into, oh, something happened to Caval, and he has been overtaken by Darren Head. Was this a mistake, or was this based on pace? It doesn't seem to be a mistake. Darren Head doing a great job there with that BMW, easily his best race of the season so far. Look at this, and Caval did make a mistake there in the final corner. He was doing a two-wheeler, which is something that you probably want to do with the motorbike and not with the Renault Megane. They're side by side. Darren has the inside. That's going to be an easy pass for, or is it? And Kev tried to outbrake Darren. Darren also losing it at the exit, but he does keep the 4th place. Now let's go back to this battle, because I suspect that stuff is going to happen here. Diogo Almeida definitely wants to make moves on Jorge Jesus, because he knows that Joey English is coming with a lot of pace. Look at this, Cavan trying to get back at Darren Head here on lap 8. We are about to hit the midpoint of this race, and we are not seeing that many overtakes here at the chicane, because it's easy to defend, and it also people know that there's a high risk. Look at this, Diogo Almeida now on the outside of Jorge Jesus. Jorge did not take the ideal line there through the chicane and ends up losing the position. Nicely done there by Diogo Almeida, at least putting a car between him and Joey English. Joey is now trying to go for Jorge Jesus, but Jorge is quite a difficult driver to overtake, as Joey is basically finding out here. And he's lost it now. He took that BMW past its limit, and it is. Oh, and by the way, Kev Allen has overtaken Darren Head again. We're going to have a replay of that maneuver, as Darren did a great job overtaking Kev there on the previous lap. But was this at the chicane? Yes, it was. Kev was very close there. Did Darren lose it again? Yes, kind of. And with a bit of bumping there as well. But I believe Darren was already a little bit out of control. Drops to 4th again. 5th is Diogo Almeida. There is Joey English. And Joey has... What on earth happened there? Because I thought that... Well, this is the replay, of course, of what we've seen happen already, as we are going to see Jorge Jesus losing it again. So we'll get a replay of that. He does lose it. But look at this, Diogo Almeida, beautiful there. Not sure it's the fastest way to go around that corner. And let's have a look at elsewhere in the race. Delphi Moura is running away with this race. He is 1.3 seconds ahead of Diogo Silva. 3rd is Kev Allen. 4th is Darren Head. Now the battle for 5th is going to heat up quite quickly, because Diogo Almeida is desperately trying to hold on to that 5th place. He's done a 1:13.660. That was faster than Joey, but of course Joey had to negotiate around Jorge Jesus, so there was quite an intense battle. Inevitably you're going to lose some lap time there, and I think that Joey probably will end up challenging for the podium, at least towards the final laps of this race. And Joey, again, he's still 7 seconds away from the leader, but he's now ever closer to 2nd place. Only 5.5 seconds now separate him from the 2nd place man, Diogo Silva. And we still have 7. Oh, look at this, Diogo Almeida is always very twitchy in this corner, this final corner, and Joey English clearly has more traction in that Megane, has more grip in those tires. He's going to go for it now in turn 1. This is a difficult braking point with the Megane car, but Joey is having none of it, and he does take 5th position. A bit of running wide there, but we've seen that pretty much by everyone. Diogo Almeida trying to come back at him, but now has absolutely to yield. And up into 5th, is Joey. In other battles, we've seen Andrew Dalby move from a very good race indeed to dead last, and he has been having issues with that BMW. 10th is Scott David. He did not qualify very well. Pit to 9th is Simon Allen. Simon has good pace at the moment, 1:13.3. That's pretty much the pace of the leader, Delphi Moura, but he does have a few BMWs between him and the podium position. Then is Rob Oldham, Jorge Jesus, Diogo Almeida, Joey English. We will follow his progress now towards Darren Head. Let's look at the lap times from Joey and try to evaluate what's his pace versus the top 4. He crosses the line. That's a 1:13.5. Not a great time there. Look at Delphi Moura, the race leader, a 1:12.840. This was probably due to the overtake anyway. Driver in front of him is Darren Head doing a 1:14 flat. So Joey still recovered half a second. This circuit, surprisingly, at least in terms of race pace, is proving to be more balanced between the Megane and the BMW. We have the top 3 drivers in this race are Meganes, and if Joey manages to overtake Darren Head, it will be the top 4. However, the lap times themselves, they're actually quite close between the 2 cars, so that's good to see this first experiment in the Old Fox Racing PlayStation with multiple cars in the same class at least working in some circuits, although it is an experiment that probably will not be repeated soon, at least without a bit more testing of what is actually the balance of performance between the 2 cars. We can see that Darren Head is now losing time. He's losing touch with Kev Allen. He's running wide. Probably his tires are not doing well, and I think that will be a couple of laps before we see the Meganes in the top 4 of this race, as Joey now has done a 1:12.9. That was a pretty good time there, and Darren is stuck on the 1:14, so this is going to be a matter of time between now and the time that Joey English is going to go into the top 4. A podium would be ideal for him to be at least in touch of the championship lead, but well, we still have 4 laps to go at the line, and Darren Head's tires are completely gone. He's basically trying to defend in any shape or form. Look at this bit of bumping there, as we often see in touring car racing. Now they're going to go side by side, and this is difficult but not impossible to go on the outside of the next corner and run the corner side by side and then get the inside for the last corner. But Joey is going to have to wait a couple more corners until he makes his move. He's doing a great job. He knows that Kev Allen is there with a podium place, and now he's going to try to go on the inside again. He's done this to the previous driver, that was Diogo Almeida. He's too far behind now, and it's very difficult to outbrake the driver in front if you are not side by side by this point. But he's going to go for it anyway. He's going to go for it anyway, and he does the job. Darren Head tries to use as much of the track as possible and beyond to keep his position, but not successfully. And Darren Head drops to 5th place. The top 4 are Meganes again. Let's look for other battles. Diogo Almeida is on his own. Jorge Jesus is on his own. Rob Oldham is on his own. He's not on his own. He has Simon Allen for company. Simon is trying to salvage some points here, as he's still pretty much in 3rd place in the championship. The top 2 are probably too far ahead, but he's got drivers behind, like Jorge Jesus doing a great job in the championship. Diogo Silva trying to recover a few points as well, and he definitely needs a little bit more. Oh, and he's going to go for it now, and Rob Oldham gives him space, and that's another Megane overtaking a BMW here in Watkins Glen. I think the cars are more balanced. Potentially the Megane is a little bit better on the tires, as we are seeing in this last stint of the race. A few BMWs losing track position, and it seems to me that the problem is tire wear. The race leader is Delphi Moura. He's on lap 14 out of 16. He's open more of a gap, 2.3 seconds, but look at this. Diogo Silva is safe in 2nd. That's going to be easily his best finish of the season if he manages to do the final 2 laps in it. Is well ahead of Kev Allen, as we expected, he's under pressure from Joey English. He's under pressure from Joey. And Kev is, well, lap 14 out of 16. He will have to do 2 more laps ahead of Joey. And Joey is coming with such pace that I cannot see how this is going to happen. But this is at least now Megan against Megan. And surely Joey, in his massive recovery, will have worn out his tires as well a little bit. Darren Head, by the way, is in 5th place. As we know, he's starting to be a little bit under pressure from Diogo Almeida. And look at this now. Look at this now. This is Kev Allen going defensive, and now he's made a mistake, and surely this is not the opportunity for Joey. And Kev has made this mistake before. He continues to do 2-wheelers there in the last corner. He surprisingly didn't lose that much speed on the start-finish line, but Joey English is having none of it again, and he's gone into 3rd place, and he's probably going to be gone from sight in a couple of laps time. We are in the penultimate lap. Now let's see if at least we can have a BMW in the top 5. This is a bit of a disappointment. The BMW showed very good pace, but I think the tire wear is a little bit tricky here, and Diogo Almeida certainly seems to have a bit more pace than Darren had on the last lap. Well, Diogo was half a second faster than Darren, and Darren is completely struggling, and now they crash. Did Diogo Almeida get very affected by this? Yes, he did. And there goes George Jesus there. At least we have another BMW in the top 5. That's what the BMW team principal is going to think about this. But let's have a look at the replay. Absolutely nowhere to go for Diogo. Darren, of course, didn't do it on purpose. He just lost it. And Diogo, initially, we thought that he was going to be fine, but turns out that he wasn't, and he ends up spinning into the wall. And by the way, Darren has retained the position, has retained 5th place, even with that mistake, which is quite extraordinary. And in fact, this has promoted another BMW to 6th place, and also has generated a massive scramble here, as Diogo Almeida is trying to hold on dearly to that 7th place, because a very fast Simon Allen finally got some pace out of that Megane at the last part of this race. And now surely Diogo Almeida, who until recently was in the battle for 4th place, is now defending 7th spot. From Simon Allen. We are on the last lap of this race, and Simon Allen is coming with everything. Look at this, there's a bit of pushing and shoving. This is the last lap of a race. Simon Allen definitely needs some points here, but he, on the other hand, should not throw everything away. They run side by side. This is great stuff. We'll see the checkered flag in a moment, but and Simon Allen now does a bit of pushing there for Diogo Almeida to stay behind it. That's absolutely fine. This is touring car racing, is a contact sport after all. The race leader is now has the checkered inside, and Delphi Murray is going to maximize the points. He had to do it. He was not in the lead in the first corner, but he is in the lead in the last corner. 2nd place, Diogo Silva, his best finish of the season. And 3rd place is Joey English. Great recovery, followed by Kev Allen. We have Megans in the top 4. 5th is Darren Head, even after that mistake. 6th is George Jesus. 7th is Simon Allen, nice recovery. 8th is Diogo Almeida. 9th is Robold, and 10th is Scott Davely, and 11th is going to be Andrew Dalby. Still a pretty competitive race, 16 laps, and the 10th place driver is less than 16 seconds from the leader, so we definitely saw some balance in terms of lap time. Unfortunately for the BMWs, a little bit too much tire wear, and of course a magnificent victory by Delphi Moura with some pretty good racing by Diogo Silva, by Joey English and Kev Allen. Simon Allen surely would have been in the top 4. Look at those lap times, but that incident clearly compromising his race. That's coverage of race 1 for you here. Stay tuned, that we are going to go for race 2.